Hi, and welcome back to my channel. I am going to begin my book review journey again on this channel as I spoke about in the video I did yesterday. And I have 3 books that we're going to talk about. Of course, I have to find my notes because I think for right now I should use notes because it's been a while since I've done video book reviews. But I've been doing book reviews this whole time let me take this out, this whole time for my blog, for Goodreads, for NetGalley, for Amazon, Twitter, Facebook, and so forth. I just haven't done them here. So I thought I would start this with 3 books by Alex Finlay, and they are Every Last Fear, The Night Shift, and Parents Weekend. Now, I was going to create a series called 10 Days of Audiobooks, and that was how I was going to segue my way back into book reviews. But without any further ado, let's talk about these 3 books. As mentioned, they are all by Alex Finlay. They are not parts of series, but they do have a recurring character, and that is our FBI agent. She's back, and she's in each book, and her name is Keller. Her last name is Keller, Special Agent Keller. And so because I knew that Keller was going to be in the other 2 books that I had in my queue because I'm working on my backlog, I decided to go ahead and read them all at once. So let's start with Every Last Fear. Now, Every Last Fear is a debut novel of Alex Finlay's. And it's ironic because I read 2 of his other novels already, and what are they? They are, I should have had a note, but I have read 2 other Alex Finlay novels before I went back and read these 3. I know one is Something Doesn't Happen to Me. I kind of feel like that's the title. But nonetheless, I have already been enjoying Alex Finlay's writing, so now I was able to go back, get this debut novel, Every Last Fear. And this one here is basically about the Pine family, and when Matt Pine, he's a college student at NYU, he gets a message that he lost most of his family in what appeared to be a gas leak at their vacation location in Mexico. Now, I say most of his family because Matt does have an older brother who is currently in prison for the murder of his girlfriend. That seems unconnected, and what's interesting about that is Matt feels that his brother's guilty, but there's a huge group of people that feel his brother is innocent, just as his brother is pretty sure that he's innocent. Alcohol was involved, so that's why I put it like that. So the story takes place in a dual timeline fashion. And the reason that that's important is because, remember, Matt's family was in Mexico on vacation, and Matt's brother's in prison, and Matt's in New York City. So first he goes to his hometown trying to find answers, and then he ends up going to Mexico. And the way the dual time story is written is you start to see that one of Matt's siblings is determined to prove that their older brother is innocent. And due to their desire to prove his innocence, she's working on her own little thing. Their father's working on his own little thing. But sadly, the father, the mother, the older sister, and the younger brother, I think he was about 10 years old, all passed away. So that's the story. Like I said, it's got a dual timeline, but it also has multiple points of view. We have Danny, Evan, Liv, Matt. We just have these points of view. So it's because of the multiple points of view, it's a very fast-paced story and very, very easy to follow. Then I went straight on, and I did that as an audiobook, but it came from Minotaur. In fact, the other 2 books that I have reviewed in this Alex Finlay binge our Minotaur books that I got from NetGalley, and this one is The Night Shift. Now, this one, I started off, and I just want to read my first sentence. I cherish fond memories of visiting Blockbuster Video with my children. That was the feeling that I got as soon as I read the really tragic first part of the book. You had 4 girls who had Blockbuster Video years ago. I believe it was 15 years ago. 4 girls at Blockbuster Video. There was a brutal attack. 3 of the girls died, and there was 1 survivor. Fast forward 15 years later, and you're at an ice cream parlor. 4 girls, 3 brutally murdered, 1 survived. Okay, so back then we have Ella, and now we have Jesse. Well, Ella and Jesse's paths crossed when the second brutal attack occurred. Now, Ella is a school counselor, and she is also a woman that has endured great tragedy. And I think I can tell you this, and it's not a spoiler, that Ella was the sole survivor of that Blockbuster attack. That's not a spoiler. So she's living a risky life, but then when you look at her traumatic experience, it's understandable why she takes risk in her life. But anyway, so one early morning, or during the middle of the night, she gets a phone call from the principal of the school that she works at and said, there's been something terrible happen, and there's this young girl, and she needs someone to talk to, and I think you're the perfect person to talk to her. And I was like, I don't even know this young lady, the student at the school, but she agrees to go to the hospital to talk to the survivor. That's how her and Jesse is the survivor of the second attack. That's how their lives intersect. Well, Jesse becomes very determined to try to figure out what happened to her friends, and then Ella becomes very determined to help Jesse. So they each have their own sheer determination. Now, I love how Alex Finlay writes because he does the dual timeline, and he does that in this book as well. And so you get Ella's point of view from what she experienced and what she's experiencing now. You get Jesse's point of view and what she's experiencing and how she's trying to solve whatever happened. But you also get Chris, the hardworking young lawyer who gets assigned the case nobody wants. Can you imagine being in a boardroom and you're sitting around a table and the head lawyer is assigning cases to his different people on his team? Lawyer A puts his head down. Lawyer B puts their head down. Lawyer C, nobody wants the case. So Chris is like, I'll take it. So now he's got this huge case on his shoulder. Young lawyer, just starting out. But he has his POV in this book. And I just loved it. That's called The Night Shift. I think I gave all of these 5 stars. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure I gave it 5 stars. And remember I said that Special Agent Sarah Keller, was in all 3 books? Well, she was a special agent handling the situation in the book Every Last Fear. So she's also the special agent that's handling Jesse's case now. And Sarah is pregnant in this second book. And I'm telling you that for a specific reason. When we get to Parents Weekend, which is his newest book, just came out a week or 2 ago, we have 5 college freshmen who are about to have like a lavish dinner with a group of parents. It's called Parents Weekend because parents of these elite students have been invited to the university. They're going to have this beautiful dinner, and so all the parents show up. But guess what? Those 5 students, they don't show up. They're no-shows. But they're not just no-shows at that dinner. The next day, they're still missing. The day after that, they're still missing. So where are these 5 students? And who are these 5 students? They are Libby, Blaine, Mark, Felix, and Stella. The FBI agent that's handling the case, Again, Sarah Keller, the agent that was in the first 2 books. Now, Sarah Keller in this 3rd book, in Parents' Weekend, now she is the mother of 9-year-old twins. Remember I said she was pregnant in the previous book, The Night Shift? Well, now she's got 9-year-old twins. So her husband is part of the story. Not a big part of the story, but their family dynamic makes this story kind of flesh out fully. I just love the way that you don't have a series, but you have connected characters, at least one character that's common in each book. So where are these kids? What are they involved in? They haven't even been able to make their mark on the world. Have they lost their lives? What's happened? Well, when you get the narrative in this book, just like in the other books that I've read by Alex Finlay, you get the multiple perspectives. You don't necessarily get the dual timeline, but you definitely get the multiple perspectives. And you start to be able to see how Sarah Keller is working the case, trying to figure out what happened to these students. And I'm telling you, this book was thrilling from the beginning to the very end, especially the very end. And I don't want to spoil anything for you, but I'm telling you. And another thing too, Parents' Weekend, as thrilling as this book is, it took place only over a couple of days. And the reason that that's an important point to mention is that there's a certain dynamic that occurs that makes it critical to find these kids. So those were the 3 Alex Finlay books. I will, of course, throw the book covers up on the screen when I edit the video, but that's going to be it for now. I've got a ton of other videos to shoot. I don't know in which order I'm going to make the videos, but I'm going to get them up on this channel, and I want to thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.